Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this channel named Geeks for Geek School. Thank you very much for joining me at this time in this tutorial. So I have come up with again a very amazing lecture, and it is going to be on a runner game that we will develop using amazingly beautiful Pygame module. So we'll be using Python coding for developing this game, and let's dive into the platform and start the coding part. So the first thing that I would like to do is let's import this module Pygame, okay, that we require for our game. And the next thing we need to do is we need to initiate the package. So that's the code with the help of which we can initiate this Pygame package. Now we require a screen on which we can get everything. We can get our players, we can get the floor on which our player will be running, right? So some stuff like that we can get. So for drawing the screen, we are going to make use of the same concept. That is, let's have a variable, and in this variable, let's have this pygame dot display dot set underscore mode. So that's the function using which you can create a screen, and you can put it in a variable like the way I have done over here. Fine. So set mode, you can pass the parameters, the dimensions of your window as a parameter to this function. Suppose you want to have a window of 800 wide width, and you want to have its height as 400 pixels. So simply pass these two things as parameters to this set mode function. Now the moment you will run this code, so that's what you will get to see. So for a moment of second or two, you will see a window which will automatically go away. Right. Now, if you want that window to stay for a longer period of time, so what you can do, you can define some condition, or you can put a loop over here. For example, I generally use this while loop. You guys know very well. So that's the main game loop. Right. Now inside this, we can simply define a command for checking the event which will occur during the time when the game will be in running mode. So this for loop can be used for doing the same. So for event in for getting the events, right? For fetching the events, we can simply use this pygame dot event dot get function. So that's the function which is going to help us in capturing all the event and bringing all the event to us. Now we can check if the event dot game, right? Sorry, if the event dot type. So if the type of the event is equal to pygame.quit. This event will take place when the user will hit the cross button, which is there right on the top of the display window. The way we have a cross button over here, in the same way, we have a cross button on the top of that display window also, on which our game we will see. So in order to check whether the user has clicked that button or not, we can use this event dot type, and simply we can put a colon here, and let's now do this thing. So if this event dot type is equal to pygame dot quit, if this what we call it condition is true, then what should happen? That's what I would like to define over here. So I would like to quit the game. I would like my game to get close. So pygame.quit we can put here. Now, besides this, if you want to suppose you want to have you want to close everything whatever is going to run when you will build this game on Python, you want something like that. So what you can do, you can import this package sys also, right? So if with this you will be able to uh, get this function also, that is exit function. Fine. So now whatever will be running when you will build the game on Python, So it will automatically get closed. Fine. So the window as well as the operations which are running behind the window at the back end, they all will get closed, and we will come back on this coding section. Let me just run the game and show the output to you guys. So I'm building it on Python. Let's see what's gonna happen. So we are able to see this window here, and it is not getting closed automatically itself. Now, in order to close this window, what we can do, we can simply hit this cross button. See how easy it is for us to, close the window. So we can manually now control the window ourselves. Fine. So that's what this code is doing for us. Now, next thing that I would like to do is I would like to define the speed of the game. With what speed my game should run. Right. So if you want to have a control on the speed section, you can make use of the clock code. Right, there is a function named clock with the help of which you can define the FPS, frames per second, rate of frames per second. You know, the rate at which your frames should get executed. If you want to have a control over that, if you want to define a control over that thing, so you can make use of the clock function. Simply use this variable clock, or you can use some other variable also. It is totally your call, but mostly you will see this variable only in the games, in the pygame games. So we can now access the clock function, and remember this thing, the C of this clock function is in capital. Fine, you have to put it in capital. So that's how you can get the clock function from this time thing of pygame module. Now, in order to have check on this frame rate per second, you can simply put a code over here, which is clock dot tick. Fine. Now, if suppose you want the platform to execute one frame in let's say 0.06 second, so that's 0.6 seconds, so that's what you can put here. Now your game will run in a very smooth way. You will be able to see the animation also going on in a very smooth way. So now if I will run the game, you will not be able to see the changes because we have not defined any such animation yet on this game window. The only thing which will be visible to you is a black window. Right. Okay. So I'm closing it. But before closing the window, I would like to have your attention on this caption which is getting reflected over here. So it's Pygame window, which we are able to see right on the top of this window. If suppose you want to change this caption, how you will do that? So it's very simple. I have told you about it in the previous game also. Let me just help you guys with the code again. So we can make use of this function pygame.display dot set underscore caption. Fine, and here you can pass the name of the image which you want to see. Sorry, you can pass the name as a parameter which you want to see getting reflected right on the top of the window as caption. So it's a running game. So I am putting here running game by Gaurav. Okay, let me put uh, the company's name, so GFG. Now if I will run this code, so I will be able to see everything what I have passed here as a parameter to this set function, set caption function. So running game by GFG. Isn't it amazing? It is, right? So let me just close this window. Now I would like to introduce to you guys the concept of surfaces. See, the window which you are able to see over here, it's a display window. So you can have only one display window for one game. Fine. Now, if suppose you want to create some more windows, so what you can do, you can make use of surfaces. So there is a thing called surface, which is pretty much similar to this display window. right? But what happens if suppose you have five different characters you want to bring on this display window? So for each one of them you can have a separate surface. So you'll have to put the object on that surface, and after that you have to bring that surface on this display window. So that's how that surface helps us in bringing the objects we want to see on this display window, and getting them reflected over here on the top of it. Right. So surface are also they are also kind of display windows, but you can have more than one surfaces on a particular display window. But for a particular game, you cannot have more than one display window. Remember this thing. So let me just show you how can you create a surface. I have used the same concept in the previous lectures also. If you remember, I created this Flappy Bird game. So it looks something like this. Let me just show it to you. Right. So here also, I have used the surface concept in order to bring all the things which you are able to see over here right now. So I use the surface concept, and then I use that BLIT function. So BLIT stands for block image transfer, right? So that function can be used for getting everything, for fetching all the surfaces and getting them reflected on the display window. If you don't know about this concept, let me explain it to you again. So we can simply have a variable here. Let's say test underscore surface is the variable in which I would like to create a surface. Now, how can we create a surface? We can simply put this code pygame, and we can fetch this function surface. So it's a function you can use for creating a surface. Fine. Now comes the dimensions. So the way we have passed a tuple value over here for to the set mode function, with the help of this, we are actually defining the dimensions of our display window. Similarly, to the surface function also, we need to pass a tuple, and let's have a surface of 100 by 200. Okay. Now, if I want to fill a color right inside my surface, so let's do that. What we can do, because we have saved this surface in this variable, so we can call this variable first like this, and then we can use this fill function. If you remember, that's a function you can use for filling a color inside a particular object or surface. So I would like to see a red surface getting reflected on my window. Now, if I will run this code, it will not give me any error, neither it will show me any kind of surface on this display window. You guys know why? Because, I haven't called this surface yet inside this main loop, which is actually creating the frames, different frames of my game. Right. So how to do that? We can make use of screen.blit. Absolutely right. So we can make use of this simple code screen.blit, and we can simply pass the variable in which we have saved the surface as a parameter to it. Now, besides this, if you will simply pass it like this and you will run the code, let's see what's going to happen. So you will get an error. Why we are getting this error? Because it needs one more argument, and that argument is we haven't passed the coordinates of the point where we would like to see the surface getting reflected. Right, so I would like to see it getting reflected at this point 0 comma 0. Now if you will run the code, you will definitely be able to see the red color window. Why is it not visible to us? Okay, let me just change the coordinates to 100 and 200. If I will do it like this, will it be possible for me to see the red window or not? Okay, so it's not visible to us. Now we'll have to find out why we are not able to see this surface. Screen.blit, this is perfectly fine. Okay, we haven't defined that update function yet. So there is a function named update, which with which we can get the display screen updated on regular basis. So we haven't defined that. Maybe that's a reason why we are not able to see this red surface on our display window. So that's the way you can call this update function. Okay, and let me just change this to 0 comma 0 again. Now if I will run my code, let's see what's gonna happen. So I am able to see this red color surface getting reflected on my window. Isn't it amazing? I hope you have understood the concept. Right now, if you want to suppose change its position, suppose you want to you want to see it somewhere over here. So you can change the coordinates. If you'll change it to, if I'll change it to 100 by 200, let's see what's gonna happen. So see the direction, the position of this block has changed. Earlier it was getting reflected over here, and now we are able to see it here at this position. So it's amazing. Fine. Now what I am doing, I see I don't want the surface to be there on my display window. I would like to now import, I want to see a floor, I want to see a sprite, a character with which we can play the game. So that's what I would like to define now. What I can do, I can simply come up over here and, sorry, test surface, do we need to remove it or not? Let's do one thing. Let's first put a name of a variable here. So I would first like to import a sky as a background on my on my game window. So pygame dot image, I've already downloaded all the images on my on in the folder in which I have saved this runner.py file. Let me just show you what all things we'll be needing for this game. So I need to come inside this user's name folder, Gaurav. Then I think app data is the one we need to visit, right? App data is the name of the folder. We need to visit local, and then here we can simply uh, come inside this programs, Python and here are all the files we'll be using. So I would like to see the sky I have downloaded as a background on my display window. The complete name of this image is, because it's a PNG image, so we'll be using sky.png for fetching it on the display window. So pygame.image. I hope you remember this load function, right? We made use of it several times in the previous lectures also. So this can be used for pulling the image and loading the same in a variable. Right, so what is the name of the image? The name of the image is sky, and the complete name is sky.png. So we need to mention the extension of the file also with which we have saved the file. And besides that, we would like to have this convert function also. So what this will do, it will convert this image in such a form that it will not put a lot of load on the game, right? So convert function we can use, and then we can have a separate variable for the ground image. So I would like to have ground.surface is equal to, we are going to make use of the same code. The only thing which we'll change in this code I have copied and pasted here is the name of the image. So the name with which I've saved the ground image is ground.png. Right, so it's very simple. You all will, if you will try, definitely you will be able to get the desired output. Now if I will run this game, I will not be able to see the surface or the the either of these surfaces on this display window. You know why? Because I haven't called them in this while loop. That's the main loop, right? So I haven't called them yet inside it. That is the reason we are not able to see any of these two surfaces on our game window. So what I am doing, I'm removing this line of code because we don't require the test surface anymore. We can simply come down here and we can change this test surface to what? We can change it to, let's say, sky surface, and I would like to see it getting reflected at this point, 0, comma 0. Fine. Similarly, we can use the same code for calling the ground image also on our game, on our display window. So we'll have to change it to ground ground underscore surface, right? And we can change the coordinates to 0 comma 300. Now it's time for us to call the uh, okay, let's first run this code and see what is the output it will give us. So that's beautiful. See, that's the sky, and it's a beautiful floor which we are able to see over here. So it's looking amazing. It's really looking very beautiful, right? Okay, now it's time for us to write something on the top of the sky. So if you want to write something, or if you want to see some text getting reflected on the top of the display window, so you can make use of the same code, the way we have used this load function for loading the image in the surface, and then we use this split function for getting the surfaces reflected on our display window. In the same way, we can get the text saved in a variable first, and then we can call it in the main variable. So let's do that. First of all, I would like to fetch the font in which, which I would like to apply on the text I would like to see on the game display window. So, that's the way we can pull the font. So font is the function through which you can pull the TFT file in which the font I have saved. So pixel type, that's the file in which I have saved the required font I would be using for my text. So I can simply call it like this. Pixel, what is the full name? It is pixel type. So pixel type, and then we need to put this TTF. It's a TTF file, right? And I need to enclose it in between inside the double single inverted commas, and let's convert it into a form which can make our game lighter, right? So it is not going to put now too much of load on our game because we have converted it into a form which is lighter. Okay, now it's time for us to use the render function. So what we can do, we can use another variable, let's say text surface. Okay, it is for defining the text on the game window. And simply we can put this test underscore font, and we can call this render function, which uses three parameters. So the first parameter is the text we want to see getting reflected on our game window. I would like to see my game getting reflected on the top of my game window. Secondly, I would not like to give it a fancy look, so that's the reason I've passed false here, right? And then black, the color in which I would like to see my text getting reflected. So I would like to see it in black. That's the reason I have passed black here. If you want to see it in some other color, you can pass the name of the color over here as a parameter, as a third parameter to this render function. So now the only thing which we are left with is calling this text on our game window. So we can simply copy this entire code, we can put it here, and variable in which we have saved the font, we can copy it from here, and we can simply place it over here. Right, let me now run this code and see what's gonna happen. So we will be able to see the text not. Okay, it's showing us an error. Why is it so? Function takes exactly 2 arguments. Is it so? uh, what is missing here? Okay, I haven't passed the font size. That's absolutely right. We need to pass font size also, right? Let me now run this game, and still we are able to still this error is coming. Pygame.font object has no attribute. Okay, why it is showing us this error? So I have used this test font pygame.font. This is perfectly fine. Why are we getting this error then? Pygame.font. Okay, then pixel type .ttf, and then we passed this 50 over here. Why are we getting this error then? Let me just check this error again. So it is saying that pygame.font has object has no attribute convert. Okay, so it is not able to. Okay. I think I need not to use this with this font, because obviously it is not going to put any kind of load on our game. Let me now run this code and see what's going to happen. So we can see this my game getting reflected on our display window. So finally we are able to see it over here. Now it's time for us to change its position. Suppose if I want to see it getting reflected somewhere on the top over here, so I need to come down and I need to change these coordinates, which I have passed as a parameter over here to the split function. So let's do that. If I want to get it reflected on the top, I can pass something like this. I think now we'll be able to get a very good output. Yes, we are able to see it getting reflected in the center and right on the top. So it is looking amazing right now. Right, so that's what I wanted to tell you in this lecture. We are done with uh, you know getting this text on our game window. We are done with defining an amazingly beautiful background for our game. The next thing that we'll be doing is we'll be bringing our main character. We'll then add some animations to our game, right? And this game has 6 different parts which we will shoot on 6 different days, right? So today you enjoyed this first part, right? And I hope to see you in the next lecture too, in which I am going to show you the second part of this game, how you can code animations, how you can add animations to your game and make it look more appealing. That's what we are going to do in the next lecture. So please be there. And in case you come across any issue while coding this game on your own, do let me know about the same in the comment section so that I can help you in resolving the issue. This is it from my side. I hope you guys enjoyed this lecture a lot. Thank you very much for being there with me in this tutorial. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye everyone and take care. Stay well.